There have been 2 more meetings held on the issue at Dalby and Gundawindi. Kathy McLeish was in Gundawindi for State Line and I spoke to her a short time ago. Kathy, what's the mood been?
Jess, we're hearing a great deal of concern out here. People are angry. They say cuts to water will mean cuts to productivity and that means lost jobs. And they're saying for towns like this, that would be devastating. There's a tipping point out here, they're saying, and they're concerned that this may just push them over it.
What information has the Murray-Darling Authority given out and has it soothed any concerns?
The Murray-Darling Basin Authority is bringing a strong message of reassurance. It says that this is a genuine process. It is committed to hearing the feedback. It's open to changing the numbers and the feedback will be used in the development of the next stage of the plan. But people aren't convinced. Jess, I've got Senator Barnaby Joyce with me and Ian Johnson, who heads the water policy for Queensland Farmers Federation. They've been at the Gundawindi meeting today. Senator, the federal government and the authority clearly understand farmers aren't happy with the water buyback and they've promised 2 inquiries. Is that going to be enough?
Well, Kathy, they've started a fire in the House and then said we're going to have an inquiry to find out how hot it's getting. For these people, for the people in the towns, for the people who are paying off their houses, for the people with the tyre business, the motel, this pulls the economic rug out. And people are really being left with 2 choices. You either change the plan or change the government. It is not the Murray-Darling Basin Authority that has the ultimate authority. It is the Minister. The Minister has the capacity to look at the guide and say, this is ludicrous. This will absolutely turn our capacity to feed ourselves as a nation, to support regional Australia. And after all, they're there apparently because they were going to look after regional Australia. Their first decision is to actually decimate regional Australia. The Minister should be the one at these meetings, not the people who are the messenger. We're talking to the messenger, not the Minister. The Minister should be here to listen, and I do get a sense that this is a bit of a cathartic arrangement where everybody can blow off their steam in Gundawindi and St George and Deniliquin, in Shepparton and all round the basin, but they just don't want them to come to Canberra. Well, I've got a message for them. If you don't get this right, these people are coming to Canberra and you're going to have a very ugly day at work when they turn up.
The Murray-Darling Basin and some green groups say the water buyback is absolutely vital for the future of the Murray-Darling Basin. Can sustainability be achieved without cuts at the proposed levels?
Well, you know, where is the sort of the list of the environmental assets and all their requirements and where this water came from and how that study was devolved and whether it was in drought or whether it was in flood. What we've got at the start, Kathy, is one volume and then they say, don't worry, the rest will turn up later on. All the collation of material will turn up later on. They tried to bang together a socio-economic study, so we hear, in the last days of the plan, even though they had this inordinate amount of time. They politically manipulated the way that the Australian people got to hear about the plan, so it wasn't an issue for the election, so it wasn't an issue when the independents were making up their mind which side of Parliament to support. This socio-economic study, what a load of rubbish. 800 jobs. We're looking between 20 and 30,000 jobs when you listen to such people as Judith Stubbs.
Ian Johnson, has the announcement of 2 inquiries into socio-economic impact of this plan provided reassurance for your members that their voices will be heard?
No, Kathy. I've been at each of the Queensland meetings, and the key concern is that another study at that high level is not going to deliver. They want the studies down at the local level. They want to look at the community impacts at the local level because that's where they feel the impacts will be felt. And they're not convinced that they'll get that by another inquiry, another study that doesn't get down to those facts.
What have farmers already done to reduce water consumption?
Well, they've adhered to the current water resource plans in each of these catchments. They've made that point very loud and clear through these meetings that they've been through 10 years of planning to date, and they believe that they've achieved what is considered a sustainable level of take. Now they're going back over it. They understand that this isn't going to go away, but so the questions to the authority is, we want you back. We want you to explain how you're setting these environmental levels, how you're setting the SDLs, and then we also want to know then how are we going to translate this to the community and how we can mitigate the impacts on the community. It's not a farmer versus community, it's the community with farmers together.
There's been another decision today that will affect farmers, and that's the LNG approval. What's your reaction to that?
Well, that really does put a shiver down the spine of the communities on the Downs. Clearly that signals that those developments are going ahead. The concerns they've got that those developments will impact on not just the Great Artesian Basin but also the aquifers above the Great Artesian Basin. Supposedly this Water Act, the Federal Water Act, protects if it does touch the aquifers but not the Great Australian Basin. So there will be quite a concern today with those announcements.
Senator, what's your take on the LNG decision?
Well, we've got concerns, and the LNP in Queensland has serious concerns about the effect of what this taking of gas through a number of water platforms, a number of aquifers has. The LNP actually has a policy out to deal with it. We have started right from the word go expressing our concerns. People such as Ray Hopper have been right at the forefront of this debate, expressing the concerns. We are not the government. The Labor Party is the government. The Labor Party are responsible for what is happening. The Labor Party are the ones that are collecting the royalties from the leases that they've sold.
Ian Johnson, just finally, is there some concern? Mining underpins a lot of these rural communities. If there's enough reaction to CSG, LNG, could it kill the golden goose?
It could, and that's the big risk. Obviously, for mining to subsist, it needs to work within the communities that it's going to work with. So if it does affect the water, then we lose the very diversified communities that we've got. And what do we win?
Thank you both for joining us.
My pleasure.